I got the kilo, and then you took a dive, signal-wise. So try her one more time. Some fool has got a birdie up on my PASDR, and it's just not usable. So I would have a perfect copy on you if that idiot wasn't there. But anyway, so come back and give me your call sign again, slowly, phonetically, and I'll try to see if I can. I'm up on a New York SDR, and I'll see if I can pull you out.
I'll try and see if I can. I'm up on a New York SDR, and I'll see if I can pull you out. Kilo, Quebec 4, Victor, Echo, Tango.
Victor Echo Tango. Okay, we're close. I need the first part of your call sign again, please.
Tango, okay, we're close. I need the first part of your call sign again, please. Kilo, 4.
Okay, I need the one between kilo and 4.
Okay, I need the one between kilo and 4. Quebec.
I got you, sir. What's the name there?
I got you, sir. What's the name there?
The name is Scott. It's Sierra Charlie Oscar Tango Tango.
Okay, repeat the name again.
Okay, repeat the name again.
Scott. Sierra Charlie Oscar Tango Tango.
I know. Sierra Oscar Tango Tango. Is that a Roger?
I know. Sierra Oscar Tango Tango. Is that a Roger?
Negative. Sierra Charlie Oscar Tango Tango.
Scott. Oh, that's so much better than the other name. All right, Scott. Whereabouts are you located, sir?
So much better than the other name. All right, Scott. Whereabouts are you located, sir?
I'm located in Fort Payne, Alabama, on the northeast corner of Alabama.
All right, Scott, why don't you give me about 10 seconds, tell me about your antenna system, and let me look around and see if I can find a better path for us, Roger.
Let me look around and see if I find a better path for us, Roger.
Scott in Fort Payne, Alabama. I'm using an Elecraft K-3 transceiver and fed to a half-wave end-fed. It's an 8010 my antenna. Over.
All right, Scott, I've got you on my local antenna. You're sounding really good. What radio is it you're running?
Yes, sir. I'm running an Elecraft K3 transceiver.
Roger, K3. Okay, and that's an older radio, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's about, I believe it's about 14 years old now. It's, I'm not sure the actual years it came out, but they now moved on to the K4, so they no longer do the K3.
Oh, roger that, roger that. Well, you have a fixed transmit bandwidth, so you do not have the capability of adjusting your transmit bandwidth, but you do have a compressor processor. Is that a Roger?
I do believe so. Yeah, I do have a compressor.
Okay, so we would want that on at a 3. Compression processor on at 3. Roger?
Roger. I'm now set to 3 on my compressor.
Alrighty, then you have an ALC meter. Is that a Roger?
I have an ALC. I'm pegged out right now. Or it's actually tickling at the very end of the meter.
Okay, so why don't we set that level correctly? You don't want to push that ALC meter too hard. The sweet spot on the ALC meter is 7 or 2/3. So what you want to do is, be watching your ALC meter with mic gain in hand, and as you say the word audio, spoken just as you would speak any other word in a QSO, don't stress it, just say it. And as you say it, and we're primarily looking for the first part of that word, you become a human test tone generator, and so you adjust your mic level until your ALC meter is running 7 or 2/3. That's the sweet spot that we're looking to occupy. 7 or 2/3 on the ALC meter as you say the word audio and adjust your mic gain.
Well, Roger James, I'll give it a try. Audio. 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 All right there. I believe I got it right there.
Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Now, you probably don't have a tone control equalizer page. Is that a Roger?
Roger.
Okay, so it might be something that I'm not sure exactly how far off mic you are at the moment, but it will come closer, about 2 inches closer than where you were, and let me listen to you, Roger.
Roger. I'm using a ICOM headset. It's the IT Pro IT version. I moved it just about off my mouth now. How does that sound?
Okay, what we want to do is take that boom part of your headset and just run it out in front of you as far as you can get it. I'm not sure what the kind of flexibility you have as far as movement, but try to take that boom mic as far out in front as you can get it, and then at the last minute do a 90. Roger.
Roger. I have it positioned now. How does that sound? Any better?
Yes, sir. Now, I want you to go back to your ALC and reset your level, because it sounded like you might have gotten a little bit further away from the microphone than what you were. So you're back looking at your ALC meter as you say the word audio and adjust your mic gain until the ALC meter is running 7 or 2/3. Roger?
Roger. Audio. All right, I got it right there.
Yes, sir. Now tell me about your radio and what you like about your radio.
I like this was my first major radio, was the Elecraft K-3. I had a 7300 and I moved up to this older radio. Learning speed moved up. Transceiver for that. So I plan on going through the CW training right now. So hopefully it'll be a good unit for me to practice that on.
Okay, Scott, I tell you what, you might be one of those guys that are a little peaky. Some people tend to, like every third word, they kind of hit it hard, and then they're back down for 3 or 4 words, and they come back. We call that peaky. The way around that is to consult your ALC meter and leave your ALC meter out so you can see it, and concentrate on trying to keep that ALC meter in the sweet spot of 7 or 2/3. 7 or 2/3 is the prescribed sweet spot, and you can do that through your voice. You might have to just make a slight adjustment on your mic gain one way or the other, but you want to try to keep that meter in the sweet spot as much as you can. And I would say over 2 or 3 weeks you will develop a relationship between your ALC meter that you'll be able to command to be in the sweet spot at will. Roger?
Roger. Yeah, I definitely have to watch that. I think I always, when I hear myself on audio, sometimes it feels like my voice is higher than what I think it is, what I naturally hear in my ears. But I can see what you're saying. I'm watching it right now, and I see it kind of peak and then drop off, and it gets peaky, and like you said. But I'll be mindful of that for sure, and adjust it. I'll be mindful. Get right in there, and a lot of it is probably just me. I'm going to have to slow down when I talk and meaningful, make sure that I'm staying at the same level as I talk throughout my conversation.
Roger, Scott, well, stop to think about this just for a moment. I mean, as far as the speed of delivery, the faster your speed is, the more inclined the meter is to stay risen in the sweet spot. In other words, if you went 1, 2, 3, the meter would fall down towards 0 between words. So, but if you kind of move along with your speech pattern as far as words are concerned, the meter is more inclined to stay in the sweet spot. Roger?
Roger. Yeah, I'll watch that. I've never paid too much to my ALC, other than, you know, always being told that keep it right and tickling the edge of the meter. But I think you're definitely right with the 7, you know, in a 3/4 area. But it's just something I'll have to be mindful of, and I'll just have to watch that and make sure that I'm communicating good.
Roger, Roger. And it's not anything that is going to happen overnight, and you've got all the time in the world to play with it, and that's what amateur radio is all about to begin with. It's one giant experiment, so you're, you know, working on that, trying to keep your voice within the sweet spot on the ALC meter is another facet, you know, that makes amateur radio interesting, Roger.
Roger, Roger. Yeah, I certainly do appreciate you taking the time. I've called into you before. It was last year when I first got my 7300, and you helped me out tremendously with that. I no longer have that radio. I got a bunch of boat anchors now, and some old Kenwoods and Yaesus. I got a 10 Tech even. The Agronaut 5. 516. Playing around with that one. But, I'll try to catch you on sometime on one of those other radios and messing around with that one as well and see how it does. Over.
Roger, Roger, Scott. Now, I'm curious. You had a 7300, which I think is one of the greatest radios in the world. That's what you're listening to now. Or did you make a conscious decision to get rid of it, or what was that all about?
Well, I actually ran out of space on my desk. That's really what it comes down to. You know, I have the full Yaesu FT301D series radio, the whole set, you know, everything, all the different components. And I got a Kenwood TS530 with also all the components. And then it's just, once I got the K-3, I found myself using that one more and more and more, and using the 7300 less and less. There was a guy that needed a radio. I made a great deal on it, and you know, he's happy, I'm happy, and that's one of the main reasons why the 7300 I no longer have.
Roger, Roger. I was just curious. You know, I don't think, personally, I don't think wild horses stretching me apart would make me part with my 7300. And I don't want to talk too much about that, at least we jinx the situation, but in my estimation, the 7300 has got one of the most beautiful transmitters in the world, and I'm so glad to be running it at this time. A lot of that has to do with my Elmer kind of helping me along. He had a 7300 that had experienced some difficulty with lightning, and of course 7300s do not come out on top when they face lightning bolts. And and this did cost quite a bit to repair, but here I am on a 7300, so thanks to my Elmer, Roger.
Roger. Now, don't from that 7300 was great. I did enjoy it. I had to send it back to ICOM because the little power switch got, you know, where you have that knob up there, it got jumpy. So every time I would try to turn the power up or down, it would skip, like, it would just jump a lot. The rheostat there was just bad. They had to replace it. And then I had a power issue where it only put out. They had to replace it. And then I had a power issue where it only put out half power. They got back to me and said, no, you're fine. This radio works perfectly. You don't have a problem with it. And the only thing that I did not send them was my power cord. And basically I lost half the power, you know, for the plug-in on the back of the radio. So somehow at some point, little connector in there. It's a common problem I found out later. If that power cord doesn't work right, you're not going to put out the proper power that radio requires.
Roger. Now you're talking about the DC-in power cord, is that a Roger?
Roger. Now you're talking about the DC-in power cord, is that a Roger?
Roger.
Okay, you have a voltmeter on the front of that 7300, and if you do have any kind of difficulty with that DC power cord restricting your voltage, you'll see that voltmeter fluctuate quite a bit as you speak in sideband, because it's not getting the proper current because of whatever reason it is. But I think you should be 14.5, 14.75, somewhere in there, and it should be fairly consistent, you know, and like I say, you might see a little quivering there as that meter moves around, but not very much. So if you had, say, a power cord that wasn't fulfilling up to 20 amps or whatever that radio takes at 100%, it would show on your voltmeter on the front of that 7300, Roger.
It would show on your voltmeter on the front of that 7300, Roger.
Roger, and that's exactly how I found it too. Was I was watching that voltmeter and it would drop, and sometimes even on transmit would if I was running 70% or higher. It didn't happen all the time, but sometimes if I was running anything up close to the top end of the power, sometimes the radio would just shut off, and it would just click off and then it would click back on again. So that's really kind of when I knew. I was luckily, you know, I was very happy to know that it was just my power cord. As soon as I put another power cord on it, boom, that thing took off, ran good, no issues after that point at all. And so it was a lesson learned, I guess, but it definitely was the power cord causing the issue. It blew my mind that could do that, but you know, if it's not making the right connection or it's intermittent, it's not gonna give you the power you need. Over.
Oh, that's a Roger. And power consumption, high power consumption, does have a way of whittling away at circuits as far as a circuit carrying the current and voltage and whatever. My SV220 had a problem once. It seemed to cease to function, and I'm thinking, ooh, this is interesting, and so I bundled it up and went over to my owner and said, hey, what's going on? Help. And so we put it on the kitchen table there and started looking around, and I was always taught to check voltage, and he was checking voltage specific places. I was always told to check it from the incoming in. So, but it turned out that it was an AC power interruption right at the plug-in point to the SV220, and it took about 20 minutes to restructure that input cable, AC power input cable, to where it was, you know, back again. But I really had a deep concern that things were going down the can there, because you know, when you hit your SV220 and you get no filament lights or anything, you know you got some problems.
Get no filament lights or anything, you know you got some problems.
Right. Yeah. I've been playing around with this. I just recently went to the Huntsville Hamfest and I picked up a new F. Definitely a hard learning curve trying to get this thing figured out, but I think I got it dialed in now. I got a really good deal on it. Trying not to overdrive with it, and really trying to stick just around 500 watts. I think the first 500 watts is really the most important. Anything after that, and you know, you got a bigger risk. Sometimes bigger risk, higher risk, bigger reward. But I think I'm happy with around 500.
Yeah, Roger. That, you know, I have never considered running anything less than 100 watts on the 7300. I mean, it started that way. I tuned up the 220 at 100 watts, and we're running about a kilowatt, have been for the last 8 years. Seems to be the way to do it. You know, to me, when you run a transmitter at less than desired designed power out, to me, that power's got to go somewhere. A lot of times it'll, in my estimation, be back as a plate, well, if you were talking a tube, a plate dissipation problem, when you don't, it just seems safer to me to run an amplifier flat out than to run it at half power, because that power's got to go somewhere, and if it's not going out the antenna, then it's back onto your internal situation. I think anyway.
Roger. I mean, I remember the very first time I called you on the 7300, and I was running. You were like, "How many watts you running?" I'm like, "Well, I'm running about 60 watts," and you were like, "Why?" Turn it up, and that's what I did, and and I just thought that was funny, because I was new, I didn't know what I was doing, and I was just running 60 watts, and I remember you saying, "I don't know why you guys, do that, just run it up, turn it up to 100, let's see what you sound like." So I remember that very fondly. Over.
Yes, sir. Well, I mean, the radio's designed for that, and so that's the way I'm going to run it. I think it's a lot better putting. I mean, if you're just talking about the radio, to me, it seems a lot more logical to be putting 100 watts to the antenna than putting 50 watts to the antenna, and wondering where the other power is going. I mean, just because the meter's not showing it, it's still that's a matter of loading, but that power capability still exists, and if it's not going to the antenna, where is it going?
Well, I understand that. You just have to work what works with you, and they say in the book, that just use the power that you need. But sometimes you need that power to try to get where you're going too.
Oh yes, sir. If to me, a net controller has to control the net. And it's sometimes, quite often, impossible to control the net with 100 watts because, there's all kinds of conditions that, if being heard easily is, I think, one of the most important things for a net controller to be able to control his net. If they can't hear him, then you have a lot of, double talk and indecision, so to speak. Roger?
Roger. Yeah, I have noticed that with the amp, it is easier to communicate, and I'm not yelling as much into my microphone, but yeah, it's been a learning experience for sure. I blew one fuse when I pinned it too long. Put a new one back in, and I know now keep it under 10 seconds. So it's just a new one back in, and I know now keep it under 10 seconds. So it's just a learning curve, and so far.
Roger, Scott. Well, let me say 73. So if you want to hear your transmitter, if you go to YouTube, do that call letter, search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. Will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in the series of 3500, and I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. So 73, Scott, and if you get a chance to join us next Friday, we'd love to have you, Roger.
73, Scott, and if you get a chance to join us next Friday, we'd love to have you, Roger.
Roger, James. Thank you. I'm subscribed to your channel, so I will quickly look at that tomorrow, and looking forward to it. But thanks, James, as always. KC9VKV, this is Kilo Quebec 4, Victor Echo 73.
Roger, Scott. And for the last few minutes, I've been using my Kentucky SDR, which is up around Cincinnati. It's on the Kentucky side of the Ohio River, right at Cincinnati. Been using that one and also my local 7300. And I've got a chevron on the right side that shows exactly where the audio is coming from, and you can follow that to see what I'm tuned up on, which SDR or my local receiver or whatever. So 73, Scott, we'll catch you later, sir. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.